Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Zero Novice Division Week 4. You're watching an exciting matchup here between Geometric and the Seattle Battle Cattle, one of my favorite names in League Zero, if I'm being honest. I'm Corbeck, joined here in the casting booth by Payne with the wonderful Acri handling our production for today. And Payne, it's an interesting match here. I think most people agree, right? Geometric, kind of the favorite coming out, but Seattle Battle Cattle are a team on the up and up, or at least that's what I hear.
Yeah, Seattle Battle Cattle have shown improvement over the weeks, and honestly, they're one of my favorite teams to watch, and it's not just because of the name. I really like it when young talent kind of improves itself. But Geometric's going to be tough. Geometric is one of the best, if not the best, in the Novice Division.
Yeah, Geometric, I think I've had the pleasure actually of casting them before. I don't remember what the context was, but for something in League Zero, and then they were a really solid squad. They've done a good job, I think, building around a decent tank or a good tank line, I should say. And I think that most of the analysts kind of agree that Geometric, one of the strongest teams in the Novice Division right now. That being said, I mean, the door is always open, right, for for an underdog story. We all like a good underdog story, no matter where we are. So it'll be interesting to see if the old Battle Cattle there can pull this one out as we look ahead to our first map, which I believe is going to be Lijiang Tower. Lijiang Tower, kind of the classic Koth map. I don't know. Do you feel this is the most popular Koth map, Payne? I kind of think it is.
I really enjoy this map. I know it's not King's Row. And I know King's Row is like the best.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But like in terms of control, I would say Lijiang is my personal favorite. And because of that bias, I'm gonna say it's the best map.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say it's the best map, but it is a good map. I mean, all Koth maps, right? They kind of present this challenge. I once heard somebody sort of opine that Koth maps are like the true leveler, right? Because it's pretty much skill. There's no kind of like, or there aren't as many cheeky strategies you can run or what have you to make it all stick. But as we look, speaking of cheeky strategies, as we get started here on Night Market, what do you make of these tank lineups, or I should say these lineups in general?
Well, Ryan Diva is something that we've seen a lot, and it could work, especially when you're going up against the Mei. But I'm really going to be looking at the Pharah Estazo Mei. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think
it's the awesome.
Oh,
we'll just call him SD. We'll call him SD.
I'm just calling him SD. Yeah, I'm gonna be really looking at him, and Florida, and I want to see how the Sigma reacts to the Pharah, because that portable shield is going to be really useful.
Well, the classic teleport there from Lanox getting an early touch. Now you see Florida actually throwing out some damage there, but it's actually Prince Zexu who will be the first to go down. Ghost Turtle coming out hella aggressive right there to get up that early pick. Even God, I think, slept on the approach, still managed to get him down. Ghost Turtle dies on the backside. Tilted Waffle getting in there. A huge anti-nade comes in, and awesome. Or SD, I should say, claims another kill. So that's two huge picks right there in kind of the dead ground. Barrage coming in from Awesome immediately gets two as well. And here comes Zexu charging back into the fight. And just as quickly as it started, the capture and hold there is over. Ghost Turtle on the high ground coming out of the teleporter. Just going to meme for a second, but what a flip there, Payne. That was crazy.
It started out so well for Battle Cattle as they saw that the DPS and one of the supports were behind, and they just went ahead and trying to win that front battle. But it just didn't work because the DPS were behind and no one stopped them.
Well, the Coalescence here kind of going to be the initiator coming out from Beniza, trying to just push them forward, and they'll actually take Zexu out right away. Churn now in danger, caught in the doorway there. Will lose the mech almost immediately. Flank Yada caught out on the flank, brought down as well, and the team surges forward onto the point. The only contest, really, SD still here in the area, building up towards another barrage. Tilted Waffle trying to control the point, will not hold it out. And Awesome now alone drops and resets. But man, these poke phases have really been something, Payne.
Yeah, no, Battle Cattle is really good at recognizing that if they just ignore the Pharah and win the team fight and just kill the tanks, they just essentially win. Of course, I don't know where the Mercy went. I think they died.
Died really early. Bomb coming in there. Not a lot of value out of the bomb. The Shatter follow-up pretty good, though. SD Awesome more than happy to get a handful of picks off the backside of that. They'll throw in a nano-boosted Reinhardt as well. That's 4 ults already deployed into this fight. Gravitic coming out on the other side. Oh, that's a bit of a crazy play there by Florida, just trying to stave off disaster. Didn't get anything out of it at all. And we see once again lone Lennox trying to hold the point. Tracer's kind of the last check down tonight, I will say, Payne, on holding on to this point.
A huge mistake coming out from Ghost Turtle as they walled off the bomb, but Prince still got off that Shatter, and it was just game over by then because the Fire was just doing so much damage.
Well, Idolin has made the switch over to the Sombra. Frank Liata down. Great Shatter comes in. The Coalescence in the back will only claim Shadow Void. That's not going to be enough here. And surging forward are the Battle Cattle. A veritable stampede there to push themselves back onto the point. And again, the Lone Tracer touch trying to keep it alive.
I really think this match this round, it highlights the Rush versus Poke composition, as Battle Cattle are just rushing in and getting those kills, and when you back up with oh, that's huge, back up with Moira, it's going to be really effective on the front line, but the Poke composition is really good at getting these picks, like getting Shadow Void just now.
Yeah, Shadow Void caught looking there early on, deprives his team of the speed boost. That forces the run back. Good Shatter play there by Zexu. Gets a couple of targets, and the kills are followed up on almost immediately by SD. Coming in on the backside, cleaning up with the rocket launcher. We will see it touch 99% here. It's going to be a desperate recontest. Churd. Ooh, I don't know. They might want that one back, if I'm being honest.
That was a really unfortunate barrier, as that could have been really useful in engaging the next fight. And they probably could have won the next fight if they just had waited just a little bit.
Well, EMP in the pocket now. That'll be Eidolon trying to set up to get that off. They need some ults to sort of combo with it here. Shadow Void trying to avoid being taken out early again. Big EMP on point. It's going to be a dry fight on the back of it. The Coalescence comes in, but a huge play from Tilted Waffle takes Shadow Void out of the fight. Florida immediately following into the grave, but that is a less than effective barrage there over the top by SD. The fight continuing to boil on the point. Lanix claiming one with the Pulse Bomb, 99% on both sides. Desperation play time. Geometric still holding on. Shadow Void, the lone touch there on the Lucio, trying to stay up, trying to keep it going. Bought enough time for Florida to get back in, but now Florida, the target of the bullying. That'll buy enough time for Ghost Turtle to roll on in there on the ball. Ghost Turtle still trying to keep it alive. Anti-nated. Prince Xu is back. Prince Xu with Shatter. Doesn't actually clear anything out at this point. Still very much a live wire right now. Even as I say that, though, Bediza, Ghost Turtle, all going down there. And again, Shadow Void jumping into touch, but I think that's the end. It was a good stall effort, but not enough there, Payne.
I think it really comes down to, once again, the Rush versus the Poke composition. Because, you know, Rush involves the entire team to make things work, while Poke doesn't really need the entire team to win. Because you just have the forest somewhere else, and then your tank line somewhere else. And because they got those picks, they were just able to win. Because when it gets chaotic, the Poke composition is always going to come out on top than the Rush. Especially their type of Poke composition.
Yeah, indeed. Poke, you know, our spam comps in general kind of tend to burn down the brawl, but some changes coming in here. Tilted going over the Junkrat, SD on the Reaper. Basically mirror comps actually on both sides. Flankiata and Bediza. The only change, speaking of Flankiata, the first one to die there. Ghost Turtle getting in on the action early with the Fire Strike. The server room turning into an absolute war zone here for a second. Tilted Waffle there with the Junkrat doing the majority of the heavy lifting, really getting the most values out of those grenades.
Oh man, he just pressed W and M1 and it worked. It just worked, and it really looked really good for Seattle Battle Cattle at the beginning. I was really hoping that like this type of rush composition that they're playing was gonna work out in the end, because it seemed that way at the beginning.
Well, the rushdown coming in again, aggressively led by Ghost Turtle on the front line, looking for an opportunity to get a fire strike in there. Instead, they'll initiate with a Coalescence, but they kick out to the side with that. Bediza kind of stuck in a 1v1 duel there. Now you see Tilted Waffles Tire on the hunt, looking for something, will not get it off. Lanix, however, already down. Now it's Awesome's turn to stand in there and get some picks. The Shatter coming in from Zexu almost unnecessarily on the backside, and they'll escort them right back to the spawn doors.
Prince just decided to do what royalty does and styles on the opponents.
Yeah, for sure. Living up to the moniker, am I right?
Yep.
Don't just wear the tag, be the tag, as it were. Flankiata here coming up on the Coalescence. Couple of ults here online. Tire coming out and around as per usual. No, a little bit of a switcheroo there with the Tire. Gets no value on it, but look at the separation that they got on Zexu. There's a Death Blossom attempted there. Florida did a great job of mitigating most of that, but again, poor Shadow Void there. One of the earliest kills for Seattle Battle Cattle. Seattle Cattle come in. Shatter.
Tilted Waffles behind them.
On Churn. Churn will be saved, though. They're investing both the Coalescence and the Sound Barrier to keep this fight alive. Zexu comes swinging in, but again, the hero of the hour is Tilted Waffle on that Junkrat. Just racking up the kills, racking up the damage there.
The flank really did most of that damage. No one saw him behind, and he threw a grenade and a mine in there, and it imploded. I think that damage was just enough. He finds the
thrown there by the door. Oh no, that could have been a lot more valuable. Zexu getting Coalescence again. There's a Tire in the midst of everything. That's Tilted Waffle. He's looking for a big one. Won't find it. Gets taken out by Idle in there. Lanox with the 2 picks. And at the very bitter end here, Pain, they might finally have flipped it, but no mistakes now. No room.
Okay, that was a very questionable Tire coming out from Tilted, as it saw the Moira ulting and went past it and tried to go for the most value, and it ended up getting no value.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go for the target of opportunity right there. Zexu trying to come forward there, getting a little bullied on the front line, but it's Bediza who goes down early. A huge pick there. The healer taken out. A big shatter, not enough to turn it around because Awesome doesn't care if you shatter the front line. It'll just take out everybody in the back with the Death Blossom. That's the flip. That was the one mistake that you cannot afford.
Prince, once again, just absolutely styling on his opponent. He walked in there. He had the cape flowing, the crown on his head glistening, and he just pressed the Q button and he won.
Just press Q. Forehead. Ooh, oh, that's such an unfortunate kill. Poor Shadow Void, I think, really getting the short end of the stick in a lot of these fights, and losing the Lucio early on, Pain is such a pain, for lack of a better word, especially when you're running that Ryan Zarya. You just completely take the speed boost out of it, not to mention sort of the area heals. But an early win there on Lijiang Tower for Geometric puts them up 1-0 in the series. Battle Cattle, of course, gonna look to clap back there, but anything you want to highlight from that map, Pain?
No, it was a painful loss because it looked really winnable at the beginning, because their targeting and the kills that they got were really crucial, and it's why the first round went as far as it did. But when it got to the second round and they mirrored them, it didn't seem they knew who to target, because they left Tilted alive and behind, and let him deal out the damage that just ended the map.
Junkrat, one of those characters, I honestly think, if we were having a legitimate discussion about where heroes are in this meta, Junkrat feels like one of those ones that might even need a little bit of a soft nerf. That fire rate's so high, right? When you combine it with the mines. I mean, essentially you have a little under 7 shots basically to watch one shot anyone kind of in the game, and in those tight spaces, if you just leave him uncontested, he has the tendency to absolutely rain havoc. I mean, both these teams have deep benches, so they can pull what they need to here if they want, as we begin to look forward to the next map, which will be, I believe, Assault or 2CP, whatever your variety is, whatever you like to say. It'll be interesting, I think, to see what choice comes out here on the side of, I believe it's Battle Cattle, who will get the pick. Looks like actually they might have picked already. Pain. It'll be Hanamura. What do we make of that map pick? Is that where you want to go when you're back starting to get to the wall?
Well, Hanamura is a very different comp from Koth, and well, Koth in general is way different from Assault, Hybrid, or Escort. So I could see the tables being turned a little bit. In what favor, I don't know. But the one thing I really want to see coming out from Battle Cattle, especially on Hanamura, is I want to see Shadow Void to step up a little bit, because Beat can be a really valuable ult to save from Death Blossom or Rocket Barrage or anything. And I know Shadow Void's healing partner, Bediza, is really doing good on the Moira. At the times when Moira can build up the ult and unleash it, they win fights. They can just go hardcore W and win. So Shadow Void, I really want to see on that queue, like better ult timing from him.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair criticism to level there in this kind of mid sort of break, as it were. Especially in this meta, right, where Moira Lucio is kind of the go-to healing duo, that support ult is absolutely essential. Coalescence, as quick as you generate it, right, as a Moira player, it's not really it's more of a sustain ult. It's not a save your life ult necessarily. I mean, there are situations in which you can do that, but not the same level as Beat. So definitely some pressure here. Looks like Geometric will be defending first. Not entirely sure yet, though. They have indeed chose to defend first. Generally, Pain, I think, starting off on the defense, usually the better choice.
Especially if you can get that full hold, because it just makes everything so much quicker. And Assault is Assault, so if you give your opponent the chance to get 2 points, it just seems like the game's just going to go on forever, because Assault goes, you can attack really quickly or you can defend really easily. So flip of the coin, I really think Geometric chose the right side, just because of how easy it could be.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess if you get that full hold too, or something close to it, the mental boost is there as well, right? You've kind of already put your opponents in the dumpster before things have even really gotten started on your side. But we'll see what they come out with here on attack. Hanamura, I think, of the 2 CP maps, my personal probably favorite. It's definitely better than Volskaya, if we're being honest. But I don't know. Everything's better than Volskaya. Remember Paris?
Yeah, Hanamura has to be one of my favorite Assault maps because the competition isn't that great.
That is true. That's a good way of phrasing it, actually. Yeah, it's got to be one of the favorites because the rest, oh boy, I don't know about that. Do not know about that at all. You see coming out with the Tilted Waffle on the Echo. Awesome. They're playing that Ashe. On the other side, Lanix coming out with the Symmetra. So I assume, Pain, we're going to see the teleporter strat here off the attackers?
Most likely. I'm looking forward to seeing what Lanix is going to do to pair with the Mei. I think they're after the strat works. And I'm not sure if Geometric can really match this. We'll have to see, because Awesome is definitely going to have to come up with something, and wow.
Oh, and that is kind of the eternal breakdown right there of the teleporter comp. 2 already down in the fight there. Florida will make it 3. Oh, there's just not a lot to be had here. Shadow Void goes down. Bediza as well, but whoops. Yeah, we'll pretend like we won't see that, Tilted. That was a bit of a
I pretend I do not see it.
Flying? No, it's falling with style. I've been reliably informed.
So they're changing up to Reaper Sombra Rush Comp, which we have seen multiple times. It's a very strong strat, and it plays like goats. So if they play it the way they played on Lijiang Tower, they're going to win this.
I mean, the kills already stacking up right there. Zexu, Woolly Sheep, and Churd's Mech. A desperate play here by Tilted, trying to turn this one back around on the Echo. The Bob invested there by Awesome, and yet again, the DPS for Geometric coming up huge when it's needed. Just clearing this point off for what could have been an absolute disaster there on the side of the defenders.
Awesome. Like I said, I said at the beginning of the game, Awesome should turn up. That is their win condition. And they're winning because he's turning up.
Yeah, he's been kind of the central playmaker there. I think it was the Reinhardt Ghost Turtle down when they did the teleport, was responsible for a lot of kills there as well. The Big Bob coming in, and he has bought enough time here for the defense to reset, so they're pushing back in to the full gut. They'll just take a brief moment here to get Ghost Turtle healed back up. Huge dynamite strike right there at the beginning by Awesome, and that's going to cause some very unhappy members there of Seattle Battle Cattle to take the back stairs. Now trying to rush it. Oh, Idle and Caught looking, brought down the Sombra out of the fight. Won't be able to charge EMP either. And now the Battle Cattle just burning time, trapped in the upper story of the pagoda here. They need to make something move.
Sombra's such a huge part of this rush comp too. They're literally waiting for him to get back.
The delay, absolutely killer right here. They're still waiting, and they'll begin the assault now with the Coalescence. It's taken them long enough to set this up. That forces the Transcendence out, and the Adaptive Circuits coming in there as well from the Echo. Shadow Void, the early pick there. Eidolon going on rapidly as well, and the point will be full held on the backside. Amazing stuff. Coming out there from the defenders, not giving anything up. Tilted gets two, got two. Got two with that Pravel.
I'm really liking the ult economy moves coming out from Geometric, because they're not engaging too many ults when they need to. They're like juggling it around. So each fight is won in every sense of the way. They're not using too much, they're not using too little. It's perfectly right.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, and it's a really... Oh no! Eidolon goes down early with EMP. Bediza quick into the grave on the backside as well, and Awesome with the bomb to clean up, and that attack dies, but arguably they're paying almost too quickly, because there's enough time for a full repush with 5 ults.
And it all depends on Sombra if they can get the ult out in time, or if Flank can get the Transcendence, because they have nothing to defend against the pack except for their position.
All right, Churn taken down. EMP comes in. Not a lot of it can be had out of the EMT. The Death Blossom comes in as well. Nothing getting out of that. Out comes the Transcendence, the Primal from Zexu here as well. Zexu gets Eidolon out of the fight. That's both DPS down for the Seattle Battle Cattle to start things off. The full hold Spectre looming in. Oh, that bubble was real good from Zexu. Nearly cut off the benefits of the sound barrier, but the kills just not flowing in here. The bomb unleashed from Churd will clear Ghost Turtle off the point. Shadow Void cannot stand. Oh, that was absolute shambles there. Absolute disaster for Seattle Battle Cattle.
There was nothing in the way to stop the Sombra from getting all of them and being able to take the fight, because no one had any abilities. But they saw the Sombra and were like, let's get behind the wall. Sombra revealed herself way too early. She was caught out in the open, and it's so unfortunate.
That was, I mean... I obviously don't want to run them down, but it's a bit rough, right? When you come in and you have 5 ults in the bank, including your absolute game-winning combo, which is the EMP Blossom or even the EMP Bomb, and nothing comes of it. I mean, just nothing. Part of the problem, I think, too, Payne, was that they just didn't. They weren't able to get them all in one place. When they threw the EMP out, I believe the only person that got caught was Echo, and then Tilted kind of just floated away from the Death Blossom.
Yeah, the positioning of this comp was really, really smart. But the healers were also grouped up with the Ashe, and I feel like if they had targeted that small group instead, they would have won. But they kept going straight to point where the tanks were, and it just allowed Awesome to do as much damage, and the healers could just heal without being punished. And it just ended up working in Geometric's favor. And you gotta talk about the mental battle, because, like, man, how do you get full health and not be mentally boomed?
I mean, realistically, right? You kind of don't, but you just have to do what you got to do and try and hold on here. Tilted playing kind of fast and loose on that Widowmaker. Not a bad wall there to split flank Yada off, but they can't quite focus down a target here. Zexu will get taken out by Atlantics, but already Awesome's in the back line, racking up quite a kill count. Tilted Waffle with 2, and then Eidolon goes over the edge. And that, I believe, will be curtains for the chances here on Hanamura.
Oh, and the tragic part is when they walled them off, there was a good chance of if they got the Ana, they probably would have won the fight. But I don't know what happened. They came in, the wall came up, and they just all focused different targets. I think they're mentally boomed. That's just my guess.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. I mean, I will agree with you. I do really believe that was, a winnable fight, right? If they had kind of been able to close down on somebody. But instead, they sort of went after every target instead of just one target. I mean, all fairness to them, right? Like, this is one of the sort of hallmark kind of classic issues that a lot of teams in lower bracket Overwatch play struggle with. Target focus is easy to say, a lot harder to execute.
It's true. And unfortunately, Geometric seems to have it down better than Seattle Battle Cattle. So most of the battles, the Cattles will not be winning.
Yeah, too true. I mean, Battle Cattle battling, they get their hits in. Every once in a while there, you kind of see Lanox maybe gets a pick in occasionally. Ghost Turtle, Florida. Well, somebody kind of chips in, but it's always just kind of a preponderance, especially from the DPS players of Geometric, who, if we're being honest, Tilted Wassel and SD Awesome have just been absolutely kind of dominant today.
I think, saying DPS difference is kind of toxic, but in an analysis point of view, it is completely DPS difference. SD Awesome and Tilted Waffle have just been playing out of their minds against Lanix and Eidolon. And, honestly, it's not fair because Tilted's just hitting shots. And if you try to focus Tilted, then you have SD Awesome just wailing on your team. And then you can't forget about Prince, who comes in here all regal-like and just dominates the competition.
Looks like they're making some swaps here on both sides of the ball. Fading coming in now in favor of Ghost Turtle on the side of the Battle Cattle. So we'll be stepping into that main tank role. Meanwhile, on the other side, Geometric there subbing out, I do believe, one of those DPS we were talking about, SD Awesome. Yeah, he's getting taken out here. Flank Yada coming up from support to play DPS with Rim Jazzberry. I will be stepping in there to fill the support slot. That's interesting choice, I guess. In the chat, they're literally saying that they want to prove that they can win a map without ST Awesome in. That's funny. It looks like speaking of map, it looks like we will be going to Eichenwald here. Another, classic great map, and one maybe that provides a little bit of an opportunity for redemption to Battle Cattle. With SD Awesome in, the potential for a Pharah pick here on Eichenwald, or it probably goes down a little bit, right?
It depends because Flank Yada is... We don't know about Flank Yada's hero pool. We've only seen them on support. So Flank Yada could be a solid Pharah backup. But listen, I worship in the church of SD Awesome because his skill is so awesome. I don't know if I can really believe in Geometric without SD Awesome. Yeah, Tilted Waffle is good, but if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and Tilted Waffle is in my room, I think I could handle him. But if SD Awesome is in my room, I'm dead before I get up.
Oh no! Oh, we're cracking deep into the pasta there. That's fine. I feel you. I feel you on that. That being said, I mean, we talked about Tilted as if he's kind of been playing sort of the second fiddle, right, to Awesome's performance. But then again, Tilted putting in the big work there on Lijiang Tower Control Center. We saw the play on the Widowmaker there as well. On the tail end of Hanamura, got a couple of picks to his name. Seeing him come into Eichenwald, I mean, this is not a bad Widowmaker map if you so choose to pursue that line.
If Tilted wants to prove me wrong, he can prove me wrong. In fact, I want him to prove me wrong. More clips for the reel, am I right? I'm not saying Tilted Waffle should be MVP, but after one match, Tilted Waffle should be MVP.
Buying high on Tilted today. Buying high indeed. We'll see too. I mean, the addition of fading here on the other side for the Battle Cattle maybe makes a little bit of a difference. Just swapping out their main tank. Hard to say exactly what fading can muster. Doesn't seem kind of like looking from his profile that he's too much of a tank main. Plays a lot of support, but I don't know. Sometimes positioning carries over, right? There's a little bit of cross-applicable knowledge on the two sides of those two roles. We'll see if they can put that together. Eichenwald, the choice. Eichenwald, the map. I mean, it presents a lot of interesting challenges, right? Each stage kind of has its own distinct flavor.
Yeah, Hybrid, in my personal opinion, is the best game mode as it has so much to offer. And the stages are so versatile that heroes that may have worked for one stage may not work for the others. But I don't really know if we're gonna get past the first stage, as Geometric is on defense again. And if I'm gonna be like actually honest and not so funny, I believe in Prince and Churd because they've been a really solid tank line, and I think them just not dying, even if they don't even have that much healing, they're really solid. And I think they're going to completely outplay Fading in Florida. Because the biggest problem for Seattle Battle Cattle is that their main tank just keeps dying first.
Yeah, that was kind of an issue across a lot of the maps, right? The tank line getting a little bit bullied. And I mean, Churd and Zexu showing themselves to be a very apt tank duo here. Flankiata coming out on the Echo. Tilted Waffle will be playing the Pharah, so I guess they're going to show us here that they don't necessarily need SD Awesome in to be that Pharah threat. No real counter for either of those two on the side of the attackers. Running the Sombra Reaper rush that we saw previously. They'll play it slow here coming through the choke, though. Looking for the engage and opportunity, and here they come straight in and on, but Shadow Void dying early. Again, the Lucio has been struggling all night, getting picked off like that, and Fading gets taken out as well, but Tilted Waffle escorts themselves back to the spawn there at the end.
They're not going in for the res, so I'm guessing they're going to have to wait for Tilted Waffle to come back. So Seattle Battle Cattle is going to have this window of opportunity, as they don't need to worry about the Pharah, because they don't have anyone who can focus them.
They come as fast as they can. I don't think they quite got there. It's a good anti-nade. They'll actually get Zexu and Churd. Churd's mech is lost. Florida, though, trading back out. Baby Diva Churd there, getting one on Bedizia. Oh, my lord. Look at that barrage coming out from Tilted Waffle to get 4.
Tilted Waffle heard I was talking shit and decided that he would prove me wrong. So Seattle Battle Cattle and their fans, I'm sorry, it's actually kind of my fault. I kind of cast a curse at you guys.
That was a solid barrage at the end of the day. I mean, once Florida's out of the mech, though, to be honest, what are you really going to do against it? There's nothing you can really eat it with. Maybe a bubble will mitigate some of it, but the pressure coming in on that front line again. Oh, another good anti-nade there on Florida. Cost him the mech early on. Lanix won't survive either. This Coalescence on the backside, not enough because there's a cloned Echo coming in as well. The EMP comes out, gets 4, but it's not really enough for them to push up and take some space. The Primal will be thrown out here as well, but the kills still continuing to stack up in favor of Geometric. Seattle Battle Cattle trying their best to hold on here. Bedizia down now. The Lucio, the only hero. Shadow Void trying to keep Winston alive. Fading Gets a pick on the backside. Fading still in this, but it's a 4-2 fight. And Shadow Void dies, and that's the end of that push.
All right, so in rush comps, especially Sombra, Reaper, Rush, it doesn't really operate as dive, as you have to go in, hack the front line, and just get them out. You can't really afford to pay attention to the Pharah. You just have to rush by them, kill the front line, and inevitably you'll be able to get the Pharah. But they're not able to kill the front line as there's so much damage coming out. And especially with Echo's beam, where if you're half health, you will get melted down in an instant. They're not going to be able to do much. And they're just going to go in there, and Tilted's going to press Q, and he's just going to win.
There's the bomb coming out now over the top. Prince Exu, actually, the first casualty. Baby Diva Florida gets picked off. Though throwing in the Death Blossom, almost a kind of last desperation pull there. It will not work because Churd was on hand to eat up all of that damage. Yum, 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 says Churd. And that, I think, is eating away at the second to last chance here for Seattle Battle Cattle to claw their way back into this one.
That was kind of sad, to be honest. It was a little sad. The main problem there is that they need to check their flanks. They can't afford to just rush in and ignore everyone, especially ignore the Pharah, and focus on the tanks. They need to focus on their flanks, and it's just
a big EMP, but on the wrong direction because it was a cloned Sombra that ripped out that one. 4 or 5 caught in the EMP on the other side. A great EMP in response by Eidolon, but the bodies just aren't there. Oh, that play from Tilted and Flankiata in particular, with the huge clone and the huge EMP to follow it up, just put the nail in the coffin. That's got a sting there for Lennox. He was so close to contesting that point.
Geometric is just dismantling the Seattle Battle Cattle. And it's hard to explain just how bad they're dismantling it. But I think it's a lack of focus fire. Because if you go in and if everyone focuses the Winston, you could probably get a kill just before the Pharah does some damage. And I really think Florida needs to step up in denying the existence of Tilted and just refusing for him to do any damage, because if their supports go down, they're just left open without an ability to disengage or even to continue the fight.
Very true. They've really been struggling. Really, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. The frontline battle, they're just not able to kill the tanks fast enough to stop kind of the spike, right? The damage spike coming out from the two powerful aerial DPS. But that being said, I mean, also, if we're being honest, I think that Geometric as individual players have just been making some huge plays. I mean, it was a pretty huge play from Flankiata to get the clone in, get the EMP off before the other Sombra is nothing to scoff at.
It was a very smart move from Flankiata.
We're running now with the Orisa Hog. That's an interesting choice there, Payne.
Yeah, they're just going for the good old Hog Orisa, which we haven't seen in a long time. Which will mainly focus around the bubbles and the hooks. And I don't think if they're going to need that because Sombra's dead.
Eidolon gets caught out looking on the front side. Brought down almost immediately. Now the kind of oppressive firepower of the comp able to start swinging its way in. Tilted there, takes out Lennox. That's a hard counter out of the action. The second DPS as well out of the action for the Seattle Battle Cattle. Eidolon jumping back in here, but again, Sombra not a brawler, being illustrated quite painfully there. And this is just a cleanup of the last few surviving members. And that'll be a match win for Geometric.
Yeah, it just looks like Seattle Battle Cattle went to the slaughterhouse today.
Oh, that was a good one, actually. I'll give you that. I assume we're about to see this mighty 4K, if I had to guess.
No one's
Barrage
paying
coming
attention.
out here.
And
Oh,
they can't do anything about the front line, so it's just
oh. Well, they
land.
don't get much better than that, really, in terms of setups, do they?
That is something far mains dream of. Like
Yeah,
looking at
very
that
true.
gave me secondhand bliss.
Oh, yeah, it was good stuff. That was good stuff indeed. But I mean, at the end of the day, not a close run affair as much as we would like to say that it was. The analysts were correct. Geometric, the dominant team, never really looked fussed, cementing again the fact that they are one of the strongest teams,
If not the strongest team.
if not the strongest, or arguably the strongest team in the entirety of Novice Division here in League Zero. A impressive performance from them, and Battle Cattle with a lot to think about, I think, on the backside of that one.
I think it really comes down to who should prevent the Pharah or any type of spam from doing damage while your team can focus the front line. And to be honest, they would win if they didn't really have that Pharah just oppressing them from above. And I believe that it would come down to I think Florida should definitely step up their game and just be on top of that Pharah and deny them as many chances as they can get while fading Lanix and their Sombra just gets rid of the front line.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I think one of the biggest problems in general with any team dealing with a Pharah is who counters the Pharah, right? This is like something that everybody debates. We're just gonna bring Zexu in here for a quick interview on the back of that crushing victory there for Geometric, and might provide us with some interesting insights about the team, where they are.
But Chad
And,
himself,
there he is.
Hello.
how are you doing
Hello.
today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, I'll let Payne start off here with some questions for you, I guess.
So let's talk about strategy. What was your main strategy, especially on Hanamura, in terms of like positioning? Because you guys like avoided the rush head on, but somehow dismantled it slowly and surely. Can you take us through that?
So the comp is really plays super slow. You can't go fast with it. You have to wait kind of for your Zenyatta and your other DPS to get that. So they're damage out first, and then you kind of go in and kind of nuke them down real quick when they're low. So watching them come through was just like find a position, kind of try and tickle them while we try and deal damage, and then as soon as somebody's low or somebody's out of position, you just jump on them and then you get out. And it's just this quick little like fun dive where you just nuke somebody. It's a very classic dive, but it's very slow. You don't go like as fast as you can with like the old school style of Overwatch League dive.
Yeah, and your coaches definitely came in clutch with that strategy.
Absolutely. Aqua is probably like the best coach I've ever had. He always points out what we're doing well, what we're doing poorly, and then he always knows exactly what we're doing at a macro level, what's wrong. And that's super helpful, especially because we have really good coaches overall. Like we have coaches for DPS, coaches for support, and everyone listens to Aqua. I mean, he kind of like guides where everyone's going. So Aqua's really the superstar right now of Geometric.
Well, it's good of you to give the coaches some credit there. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Out of curiosity, did you guys expect more of a fight from Battle Cattle, or was this about what you thought it was going to be?
About what we thought it was going to be, but we knew we needed to actually take them seriously. We went into Night Market like very confident, very, very like, oh, we got this, and then suddenly it was like, okay, maybe we need to respect them a lot more than we were intending. And then as soon as that happened, we was like, okay, let's practice our meta. Let's do what we know we had to do. And so as soon as we saw that they were not just going to like roll over on us, we're like, okay, let's actually try now.
Yeah, you guys tried a bit too hard as Battle Cattle did not secure a single point that entire game. So maybe don't try as hard because we want good games, you know?
I'm one of the people who believes like if you lose hard, it's better than winning super hard, because I'd rather lose and be like, okay, I have notes for next time. What can we do better? And I'm always of that idea of mentality of you can always do something better. So I will always take a close win or a close loss over just stopping somebody.
a progressive philosophy there, a good philosophy for development. One final question for me, and then I'll see if Payne has anything to ask. But there are a lot of people watching, right, who will say or maybe think that you guys are kind of relying heavily, dare I say, carried by that DPS line. What do you have to say to people like that?
You think that? Watch out for Churd. He's going to come for you. He is arguably the scariest Zarya in Novice. He will lap people easily on grabs. So don't think that just because we have a strong DPS line that the rest of the line isn't strong as well. Flank Yada is insane on Ana. Woolly Sheep has got some of the best boops and like duels you'll see out there. So don't take any of us as just like we're relying on our DPS line to do what we got to do. The DPS line looks good because everyone else is doing their job.
That's an incredible modesty.
Some incredible modesty indeed. Payne, any other questions here for the good Prince Exu?
I don't think I have any more questions.
Well, there you go. Congratulations again on your win, Prince Exu. A straight-up roll here, ladies and gentlemen, of Battle Cattle, who admittedly have some things that they can think about and hopefully correct. As Zexu did say, it's better sometimes to get hard rolled than it is to get to get a hard win. You got a lot of learning to do on the back end and a lot of growth as well. But that will do it for this Novice Division Week 4 match here between Geometric and the Seattle Battle Cattle. Geometric, your champions, as I said, in this particular matchup. I've been Corbeck, joined here by Payne with the wonderful Acri on production. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget there'll be more League Zero action coming up for you at 8 p.m. Eastern, as I do believe it's our expert division here at League Zero. We'll be putting on some impressive matches, some teams to watch there as well, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure to check back in. But from all of us here at League Zero, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.